All right, this is Craig here at IPCPR 2012 at the RoMaCraft booth. I'm here with Skip Martin of RoMaCraft, and they make
RoMaCraft Tabac.
RoMaCraft Tabac. I'm sorry.
No, it's
so
right.
they have some cigars, but everybody else has talked about that. So what do you want to talk about today, Skip?
Well, we were talking about the beer earlier. We can talk about that.
Well, let's talk about the beer.
All
Tell
right.
us about the beer.
Well, so we're from Austin. There's not a lot of cigar companies from Austin.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little bit different than a lot of the cigar companies in that we were kind of dumb enough to try to start our own factory and buy tobacco, and it's been really rewarding, a good learning experience. A friend of mine in Austin makes craft beer, Jester King beer, and it's very similar to kind of the processes within the cigar industry. And we actually brought a lot of it to kind of share with our customers and our friends, but I find that I use the beer as an analogy in kind of describing how our company's differentiated from the other ones.
That's pretty cool. So, what's making a craft beer and making a craft cigar have in common?
Well, for example, I'm not really a beer guy. I'm a bourbon guy, but having an appreciation for, I'll drink a normal Shine. I'm not a Bud Light guy, but I'll drink Shiner every now and then, or like normal production beers. And I think from a cigar perspective, that's probably pretty equivalent to, say, some of the better General cigars. They're all good, but there's some that are kind of a little bit different than others. What we make is kind of more like Dogfish IPA or Jester King.
Slide over and get your cigars.
Sure,
in the shot
sure.
Here.
So what we make is a little more kind of like Dogfish IPA or say Jester King Black Metal Stout. It's made with great material by craftsmen that take their time to do it the right way. It's got unique and kind of like a story that makes it a little attractive, but it's not overkill in terms of gimmicky. But I could pour one of those beers for you, and it wouldn't be something that you like, right? It doesn't make it a bad beer. So you and I talked a lot when we went to the Dominican about how there's cigars that are great cigars that you may not like. Just like there's great beers that people who are experts in beer, real experts in beer, can tell you that is a great version of that beer, but you may not like the hoppiness or whatever. Right. So to kind of rate it as a 75 or an 80 because it's not your cup of tea is a little bit not fair, right? Or to give something a 98 because it's exactly what you like, but may not be objectively a consistent, sustainable cigar with great tobacco. So we make the Cro-Magnon. There's people come up to me all the time and say, I really don't like that cigar, but I like your Connecticut, right? There's people that come up and say, oh man, I've never had an Arapiraca cigar. I really love the Perfecto that you make in the Intemperance, but the Cro-Magnon's not for me. That's not as good of a cigar. Well, they're both, in my opinion, great cigars. Right. And we blend them to our specifications, just like my buddy Jeff makes his beer. But you may not like every version of his beer, or you may not like none of it. You may be a Bud Light guy, right? So that's why we brought the beer. And plus, it's just an excuse. Yeah. Honestly,
you need an excuse to bring beer.
Yeah,
really.
All that's intellectual. We just like to get drunk before 4 o'clock. So.
Very nice. Well, Thank you very much. Thanks for making great cigars.
Thank you, man.
And thanks for being a bud.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love meeting your wife this trip, and Dan and I were out last night talking about all of our 5:30 in the morning nights in Santiago.
All of your.
Yeah, you were in bed by 10, so yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, well, we did have a moment at the airport. Yeah.
Well, good. Thanks a bunch. Have a great show.
Good seeing you.
Continue. Good luck. Thanks.
Thanks. Great.